What's your the guy I'm insulting is right behind me, isn't he? Story? Ha ha ha. This is one actual question that I have an answer for. I was a senior in high school, first semester, going to graduate early because I had finished all my P and other bullspeep hours in summer school. I spent a lot of time talking to the guidance counselors because of this. I was in AP English, and needed the high score on the AP test to get those sweet credits. On day, in the guidance office, I started talking crap about AP English. Then the teacher walks behind the person I'm talking to. I don't notice him at all. I started to talk crap about him and how he was always so uptight and what the feep was going on in his life that he had to torture the AP English seniors that way. I'll never forget the look on his face when he saw me talking speep about him. He was actually a pretty great guy. I was so wrong. R.I.P. Mr. Stan. Why did he die? Holy speep, that ending was unexpected. Gen Z joke. Kind of on a similar vein, I did journalism in high school and we practiced recording audio, how to get clear sound, etc. While outside we began talking about the teacher. He could be a bit mean sometimes and was really strict about grading. It took some enjoyment from the class because it was do it his way or lose points. When we load the files, I play the first one and my partner yells please don't, and instead of the crystal clear ambience we were supposed to get, you hear me saying peep teacher's name here. He's such a toad looking dickhead. My partner had recorded this by accident testing the recorder out. The teacher looked around for a bit and just softly said, "What the hell, man? That's not cool. Dave, if by chance you see this, I'm sorry man, and you really did help me out in the future and I took your lessons to heart. You're a good teacher. Sorry I was an asshole. Don't sweat it, man. You were in high school." JK, but I'm sure your real teacher understands. He's probably been called worse things than a toad-looking dickhead, to be honest. Not me, but my son was shopping with my husband in frozen foods. He saw these Cheeto mac and cheese bites and started going on about how gross they were and who TF would eat such speep. There was a large woman behind him with a cart full looking very unhappy. "Oh my god, gross. Cheetos mac and cheese bites? You have to be kidding me. That's absolutely disgusting. Where did you say this was?" Walmart lol. I was at a campground with a few of my friends and I leaned over to one of them and said, "Hey, you remember so and so from when we were in 3rd grade?" Him: "Oh yeah, he smelled like piss and always pooped his pants." Me: "Ah, he's right next to you. Smell should have given it away, really." This was 10 years later. He had, how you say, glowed up. Overheard my boss in the next cube being a hypocrite about someone's health/weight. He's a large, unhealthy guy himself. I messaged my coworker on Slack telling him what a hypocrite our boss is. Accidentally messaged my boss instead. There was 4 of us sitting in a parked car. The driver owed his dealer some money. It was payday, but his uncle/boss hadn't paid him yet. We're smoking and chatting when the driver screams at the top of his lungs, "No, oh no 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 no." Thoughts start racing and we all get paranoid thinking he just got a text saying someone in his family had died. Then he tells us what's happened. He thought he texted his dealer, "I don't have the cash yet. My big fat bastard of an uncle hasn't paid me yet." But he sent it to his uncle/boss. And his uncle was super fat, like the size of 4 men in one body. His uncle rang him up 2 minutes later in tears and sacked him. It was one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed. Oh my gosh. His poor uncle. I'm dying inside and it wasn't even me. I'm glad he fired him. Oh, dear. D. The other day I was texting some coworkers about some dumbass things our boss had done recently. About 30 seconds after I sent a couple incriminating texts, I realized our boss was on the group text. One of my old coworkers has what I call no sense of self-preservation. I've literally watched him almost die right in front of me, and he has absolutely no idea how close he came to dying. Another coworker and I were discussing all the times we've seen him almost totally maim himself when suddenly my coworker practically shrieks high name. I don't know if he heard me, but I was actively describing one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen him make that almost cost him a finger at best, hand at worst. "Grimes, is that you?" "Who? Do you mean Grimy?" I was literally just talking about this with my roommate. The movie theater I went to with my dad and sister growing up showed local commercials before the previews. One commercial always played and we thought it was the dumbest thing. It was the owner of a pool/jacuzzi business pointing at the camera and saying in a super cheesy voice, "Pools Plus wants to earn your business." Well, one evening, there we were, sitting in the crowded theater, and here comes the Pool Plus commercial. So dad mimicked the dude's over-enthusiastic salesman voice to us girls and we all snickered to ourselves. I noticed a man sitting directly in front of my dad bow his head, cover his eyes, and slowly shake his head. The balding pattern and mustache matched that of the man on the screen. I told Dad after the movie and oh how we laughed. Sorry, pools plus dude, but you never did earn my business. This better make it to hot. I want to see this in a YouTube video. Like Audible says, listening is the new reading. I was talking with a classmate about how one girl's story she submitted to our workshop showed abuse as this outright comical affair, with the abuser being such a caricature that it genuinely made me angry. Right as I said yeah, the story that really pissed me off was Rachel's. She walked past and I felt kinda guilty. She deserved measured criticism, not gossip behind her back. Ah, this comment was very mature. I like that you said that she deserved measured criticism, not gossip. You seem like a kind person. That story sounds like it would have pissed me off, too. Thank you for saying that. Unfortunately, I have a long history of being unkind. My writing classes in particular brought out an incredibly nasty, insecure side to me where I tried to cover my anxiety with superficial ego and it did no one any favors. Moments like that one reminded me of how awful I was being, but I didn't know how to stop. I would hope I wouldn't repeat those mistakes given the chance now, but it's hard to say. Playing golf at my local course, pulled up to the tee in cart 57, and the starter says to me, you know that's Hall of Fame linebacker Ricky Jackson's cart. I said well if he shows up, tell him he can come play me for it. And the starter points behind me and goes you can tell him yourself if you want. I turned around, and the gigantic Mr. Jackson just started laughing. We all got a kick out of it. He's a really nice guy. Said he wasn't playing that day and I was welcome to use the cart. I had beaten a guy in whatever the Fighting Dragon Ball Z game for the Wii was. I was espousing upon this fact to a couple friends down the hallway. And he heard and popped his head and like are you talking speep dude? And I was so embarrassed I shut up pretty quickly. I was complaining about my sister's black bean soup with my brother-in-law. He kept egging me on to say more about how much I hated her soup, how I thought it tasted like warm snot, etc. When he started giggling, I knew she was standing right behind me. A coworker was talking about a scumbag ex of hers that owned a ferret. I loudly chimed in to say that everyone I'd known who owned a ferret was a totally scumbag or a freak show. Guess what pet the coworker behind me just got? Working at a small, family-owned Italian restaurant in the mid-2000s. The kitchen window/drink prep area was very close to the dining room. One of the waitresses said someone had asked if our veal was free range. I thought she meant a call-in order. I very loudly shamed whomever thought veal could possibly be free range. It was not a call-in. They were sitting less than 10 feet 3-ish meters away and heard every word. I definitely hurt their feelings and they did not tip. Still haunts me. So this confused the hell out of me. I've never had veal so I didn't know you couldn't get free range veal so I looked up why. Hell, now I'm a big meat eater but feed me. They put them in extremely cramped conditions and sometimes in the dark to purposely minimize how much the animal moves because movement makes the meat tougher. Some of them even restrict their food to the point where they can't give them bedding because the calves eat it out of hunger. Now, I've always disagreed with battery hens but this is just barbaric and disgraceful. I feel physically sick.